Guys, please go on mute. Okay, so now I just wanted to get started with the basics. First of all, what do you meant by a Java? And then, anyways, there is a quick intro which we have the PPTs for this one. I'll just go through that one. But let me take you through with a basic structure how Java works. This is the topic we are going to discuss. How Java works. Okay. So now this is the basic topic which we are going to get started with it. And then I'll talk about what is Java and what is programming languages or high level languages, low level languages. These all things we'll be discussing as part of this particular PPTs. Okay, let me get started with the first thing. So I have a particular Java file. So now the extension to write the Java code. So now we will be writing the code, right? So to write this particular code, I mean, Java code is nothing but like this. So now we are writing these particular codes, right? To write this particular code, you'd be using a file extension. I mean, you need to have certain files and everything, right? So this is a file. Now, once I have written this particular file, I'll be saving this, but means usually I'll give a name for a file, right? Now what you'll be writing is, this is my first class or first Java class. So now the extension for this particular file is .java. Okay, so here I have just written a simple piece of code, which it is like a hello world. Okay, so now I have been printing this particular hello world. So just I'm saying that hi, and then I'm just printing this particular code. Now, this is the file where I have written that particular code, and then I'm printing over here. Now, secondly, after this one, what it does is it will go to the compilation. So now, which it is called Java compile. Step number 2. So internally, what it will happen as soon as we have been taken this and then started to compile this. So then it will go for Java compilation. So this is in the short form, what we will call it as Java C. So Java C, so which is Java compilation. Now, what this particular compilation will do? What is the responsibility of a compiler? Now, we do have two things when we wanted to understand this one. One is compiler, okay, compiler versus interpreter. Okay, so what is compiler and what is interpreter? So we will discuss about this particular pointer also. Now, compiler means, for example, in this particular Java file, team, please go on mute. So the compiler means here I'll be writing 100 lines of code and I'll compile this particular 100 lines code at one shot. So this is what the compiler will do. Whereas in this particular interpreter, I'll check line by line. There are a lot of other differences also. But as of now, for your basic introduction, you understand this particular pointer. So compiler is nothing but it checks the complete codes at one shot. Interpreter will check line by line. So Java is a compiler supported and interpreter is Python supported. So what is Java and Python? So these are languages. Why we require languages? What is the purpose of a language? Example, now I wanted to talk to you. So we should have certain language. For an example, my language means we are all talking in English. Now we will be having a different communication languages. So I can talk in Telugu, I can talk in Tamil, I can talk in Hindi, I can talk in Kannada and Malayalam or Bengali. So whatever the languages, it is there is a language which it can help us to communicate with each other. Now, the same way when you are talking to a computer, okay? So for this particular computer, when you're talking to the computer, it also should understand, right? See, if I'm talking to you in Chinese or in Spanish, will you understand? No. So when I'm trying to talk to the computer, I should have a common language between both of us. Means for me and for the computer. So these languages are called as programming languages. With a program, I'm trying to express my feelings or express the commands, instructing some information to the computer. So these are the programming languages. So this is how I need to explain for the computer so that computer can take this particular language and then they can understand it and then they can execute this particular code. See, now in these particular programming languages, so now this is called program. First of all, you understand language. Now we write the programs to make it understand by the system. So that is the reason it is called as programming languages. Very simple, right? So now when I'm talking to you, I should have a language. So that is where we will be having our different dialects. Means in India, we do have 1500 plus dialects we use it and different languages we use it. So the language is the thing so which it will try to express your feelings. You instruct something or you obey something. So you give the complete means it is exchange of your information. So this is called as a language, right? The same pattern, if you wanted to talk to a computer, we should require a language. To for both of us, it should be understanding. So you will give that certain programs to make your system understandable. So this is called programming languages. In this particular programming languages, we do have two categories of programming languages, which is high level and next one is a low level. High level programming language, low level programming language. What do you mean by high level programming language? High level programming language is nothing but which it can be readable by the humans. Very simple, right? If human beings can read that particular things and understand this and give this particular instructions to the computer, so then this is called high level languages. And low level languages, so this would be in the bits and bytes. So now ones, zeros, 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 one. Now, can you understand what is this? We will not understand this, but this would be understandable by the computer. So now English can be understandable by us. Because now for an example, now this is what a simple Java code. Now you can see here is, so you're writing public void modified payload, string, file name, database, data table, data tables. And here we have been given configuration. Now at least you are able to read this particular thing, right? Yes or no? You're able to read this one, right? So these are the things which it is called as a high level languages. Now, these particular things, if you can't able to read it, means everything if it is in zeros and ones, can you read that particular code? No. So then those are the things which it is called as low level language, high level languages and low level languages. So now what we discussed overall here is what is programming language and what is high level language and low level languages. And Java is supported with the compiler. Now, why I just diverted from compiler to this particular programming languages means, so here you can see it, right? So now there is a high level language. Now, what are the examples of this particular high level languages? Java, Python, C Sharp. So these are the high level languages. Now, when you have these particular high level languages, now you are saying that what is high level language, which it can be readable. Read it. So now how computer will understand? There is certain mechanism we need to do it, right? Certain tools and things should be there to convert this particular English language to understandable by the system. We need to have certain particular mechanism to convert this particular high level language into the system understandable language, right? For that one, the step one would be help with this particular compiler and the interpreter. So now what does this particular compiler do? Especially in the Java compilation, it can be helpful to do two steps. Step number 1, it checks if there is any particular syntactical errors, syntax errors, okay, errors. Second thing is it converts .java file into .class file. Guys, this is very important question. So you need to understand who will convert .java file into .class file. I'll show you everything in practical by the end of the session. So first you understand the theoretical topic, then we'll go for the implementation part also. Now, if you see here, this is .java file. So now converting this particular .java file into .class file would be done by the compiler. Now we can easily see in .java file what I'm writing it. So I'll be writing the code like this. So .java. Now converting into .class files. Now what would be there in the class files? You would be having bytecode. Okay. What is this particular bytecode? I'll explain this particular part later. Okay. Now what you can do is, for an example now, you wanted to have sugarcane juice. Okay. Ultimately, what you wanted to drink? You wanted to drink a sugarcane juice. Now you went on the road and you will be stopping there. Now, when you stop, first he will take the sugarcane and he will clean that particular canes. And once after cleaning the canes, so he will be keeping that particular canes into the crusher. So the crusher will roll and then it will get that particular juice. Now what he will try to do, he will add the ingredients for that. So he will try to add garlic and he will try to add lemon. And then once again, he will squeeze it. So that will squeeze and then he will once again fold it and once again he will squeeze. So now the ingredients of the sugar cane juice and ingredients of the ginger, ingredients of the lemon, it mixes everything and then it will form the juice. Then he will take into that kettle and from the kettle he will put into the glass and then he will serve to you. See, to get your sugarcane juice with this particular thing. So this is the mechanism how he will do it, right? The same way, if you wanted to execute your Java program, or Java file, means now you have been written in the human readable language. Now, how this would be converted into the execution, which the system can understand that, execute that, generate the results back to us, how this will be happening. So this is what the mechanism which we are going to discuss now. That is where how Java works. So here what we done, so we written a simple program, which is a hello world. And this program we have been given for the compiler. The compiler consumes this one and it will check the syntactical errors. Syntactical errors. What do you mean by syntactical errors? Now, for an example, now you open any particular means, I'll just open this one. So I have the Grammarly tool, right? So the Grammarly tool is one of the tool which it checks the spellings and everything. So if you see here, I have written some spelling mistake. So now what it was trying to do, it is helping me to understand and then correct that particular things. Means this is syntax error, spelling mistakes or anything like that. Same way in the Java program, when you have been written for that, it will check for the respective syntax. Now, what are the syntax? See, in English, we will be having the spelling checks or we'll be having grammatical mistakes. Those all things would be checked. See, for example, if I'm typing something else here, it will give me the red color mark. Hey, this is wrong. So now here I wanted to type this one as Chris. So now it was not giving me any error message. So something meaningful, if it should be there. If something else it is there, so then it need to be changed. Or it will pinpoint me that there are some issues, go and fix that particular issues. The same way, compiler will check for the syntactical errors. So now whatever the errors which you have been, it means written in the program, so that particular errors would be taken and then that can be executed on this one. So now let me go back to here. So the first step of the compiler is to check the syntactical errors. Next step, it will convert the .java file into the .class file. So in .java file, you would be seeing the complete, human readable language. Now, when it comes to .class file, so now from the class file, you'll be seeing the complete bytecode. Now, what is but by that particular bytecode, that we'll discuss later. So now the responsibility of a Java compiler. So now if someone asked you what is a compiler, so compiler compiles the code. What is a means what in the compilation it will do is it will check the syntactical errors of the code, and it also convert .java file into .class file. So this is the responsibility of a Java compiler. Now the same file, now I have written fc.java, right? Now the extension for this particular file will change as fc dot. Guys, are you with me?
Class.
Class. Dot class.
So
Class
fc
file.
dot
Sir.
plus.
Dot class.
So now if you see here, this is ft means Java converts into the fc dot class file. So now hello world program, Java program has been converted, means this particular fc dot Java file converted into fc dot class file. And the content of this one is bytecode. I'll practically show what is this particular bytecode and everything. I'll discuss this one later. I don't want to deviate from the topic. So now this is the responsibility of a compiler. Even the interpreter also does the same, but what it will do is it checks line by line. But compiler, what it does, it compiles the entire code at one shot and gives you what are the syntax errors. So this is the responsibility of a compiler versus interpreter. So now it's a simple thing which you need to remember. So now there are other differences also there. So the internal implementation, which is faster, which is slower, compiler is faster, interpreter faster. There are a lot of other concepts out there. I don't want to get into this because as this is a basic class, first of all, you need to understand what is the basic difference between a compiler and the interpreter. Now, what are these particular compilers and interpreter? Now, I already explained you. Step number one, means the compiler or interpreter, what it will try to do is it will try to check the syntactical errors of the program. So that's the basic step. Now, second step is it will converts into the means this compiler converts into the bytecode, because you see it right. The human language should convert into this particular zeros and ones. So as process of this one, this is the step number one, which it converts this one into the bytecode. Now, once after converting this particular bytecode file, now what this will do is it will give it to JVM. So this is called Java Virtual Mission. So now in this particular, actually here you can have a lot of other stuff. You'll be having it, bytecode, verifier. So now we'll be having different components inside this particular JVM. Now I don't wanted to talk about this particular internal topics. So now even if you just type here, so JVM. So here you can see a lot of stuff here in the Java. See, for me to understand it, it taken a lot of time for me. So I don't wanted to get confuse you for this one. So now here I just wanted to show you how this particular JVM will be there. So now it will have the class loaders. So now you can see it, right? JVM. So the class loaders means initializations, linking. So a lot of stuff it will happen. So now you forgot about all the things. Now let's understand what is the basic JVM will try to do on this one. So now JVM is a platform where it consumes this particular bytecode. Now the bytecode is the input. So now the bytecode would be the input for the JVM, and JVM will convert this particular bytecode into low level language. So now when we converted this one low level language, this can be understandable by computer. Right?
By
the
computer.
So the whatever the mission. So now this can be called as low level language or assembly language. Or actually there is a differences between this low level and assembly and then mission level languages. But as of now, I don't wanted to differentiate that particular hairline differences for this particular thing so that it will confuse you. So, but there is a difference between this particular assembly language, low level language, and then machine language. But for you now, what it mean to say is for the definition which I have been given, what is a high level language? So converting this particular human readable language into this particular low level language is what we are trying to do it, right? So that is what it would be taken care. That is what it happened over here. So now what JVM do? JVM consumes the bytecode and then convert that particular bytecode into the assembly language or the machine level language. So now you understood the process is the step number one, whatever the file which we have been written. So now that would be having an extension of .java. This would be converted means with the help of the compiler so into .class file, and compiler checks the syntactical errors and converts this one into .class file. So once after this one, then this particular bytecode will be given to the JVM. So JVM, what it will do, it consumes that particular bytecode and convert that one into the assembly language or the machine language. So this is what the basic purpose of the JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So now what the basic purpose of this one is, JVM is a platform where it tries to consumes the complete bytecode and then it will convert that particular bytecode into the low level language or the assembly language or the machine level language. So this is the purpose and this is the roles and responsibilities of the JVM. Got it? How simple it is? So first you will prepare a Java program, which is a .java file extension. Now we will compile that particular code so that while compilation, it checks the syntactical errors and then it will also convert into the class file, which is into the bytecode. And then we will pass this particular .class file, which is a complete bytecode to the JVM. JVM consumes this one. And once after consuming this one, it converts into the assembly and then machine language. So actually speaking, so we will be having a image and the picture for this one too, to explain for this one. So Pina, can you pause the video for a second, please? Are you pausing it?
Recording pause.
Okay. So Pina, let me handle that recording and pausing because I need to share multiple documents. There are some certain confidential documents which I can't share in the recordings. So pause it and then open it. So where all we have this particular training documents all, Pina? We have a big folder, right? So complete all pictures and everything.
Yeah, intense training report, the drive.
Um, can you ping me the link, please?
Yeah.
I'll map that one. There are a lot of images, pictures, and then PPTs and everything. I just wanted to bring you that particular thing so that it would be better for you to show. Okay, so till this, any questions on this? What is, see now, what are the things we have been discussed is, what is compiler and what is the responsibilities of a compiler and what is JVM? So these are the two topics which we have been covered, Java C and JVM. So these are the two things which we discussed now. Any questions around this? And this is really very important because now if you're going to work with Java, so you need to understand what it means, how the Java works. Without understanding this one, definitely this will not work. Any questions? Everyone is clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, fine then. Let me take you through that particular. So Pina, did you ping me on this?
Yes, and I pinged you in the Teams. Not here, Anna. Your personal message.
Hmm. Actually, I used to have the complete folders and everything in my system. I lost that particular system, so that's the reason I think I have been missed all those particular stuff. Just give me 1 second because that's a very good PPT or the image which gives you the complete picture of this.